After speaking with two victims who have been subject to employee dishonesty and employee crime, they have allowed us, with the use of actors, to tell you some of their thoughts as to how they were subject to dishonest employees within their workplace. These are two employees that were decent, honest, law-abiding citizens, and at some point during their employment, they turned to crime and became dishonest. It ultimately resulted in both of them receiving a prison custodial sentence.
Hello Fred.
Hi.
You're the MD of the flooring company. When was the moment that you understood there have been a theft in your company?
It was until we'd discovered quite a stock loss that we realised that stock was disappearing, and that was the starting point for the whole thing.
And what was the first thing that you did after understanding that?
We actually contacted the police, and they told us that they couldn't do an investigation, or they couldn't take that side of the investigation on, and suggested that we did an internal investigation of our own to start the process off. But they couldn't get involved and deal with it. They hadn't got the manpower to deal with it.
Okay, and how does the investigation went through? Were there any problems, restrictions?
No restrictions. It was just a matter of the people collecting the evidence, really, to give us a way forward so that we could report them to the police.
And are you satisfied with the outcome?
Yes, quite satisfied with the outcome. One of our employees did, in fact, finish up with a prison sentence, and it also weeded out another couple of employees that were obviously assisting him, but there was insufficient evidence to take them forward to court. It also highlighted our vulnerability in certain areas of our stock taking and recording of the various processes that we have. We never thought at any stage that we would have employees that were long-standing and would have turned to theft. And we realise now we were quite vulnerable in certain parts of the business over this, and we are now far more vigilant.
Thank you very much. Hello, Janet.
Hello.
Before 10 years, you have established your own small family business. Was there anything that you consider as suspicious during your work with Jane?
Not at all. She was a friend of the family, almost. Children were the same ages. We'd spent a lot of time together, socially as well as in the workplace, and I'd never ever seen anything, or she had never acted in any way whatsoever suspiciously to lead us to think that she was doing anything that she shouldn't be.
When was the moment that you find out you became a victim of an employee's theft crime?
It was once Jane had left. We were looking at the accounts and realised there was a significant amount of money that was missing. First of all, we didn't really know what to do. We called the police. They said it was a civil matter. So I contacted the company solicitor, who said to go to see expert investigations.
Yes. So talk me through the whole process. Were there any problems and restrictions to the investigation?
Not really, no. It was very quick, very thorough. We literally handed over the accounts. They had a professional team that were able to look at the accounts and find out where the discrepancies were. And it was literally a matter of days. Very fast, very thorough.
So Jane was sent to jail. Are you satisfied with this solution of the problem?
Definitely, definitely. It's quite unnerving, really, to think that not only somebody that you trust, who you employ, but is also a friend and a friend of the family, could do this to you. They could go on to do it to other people.
So can you give any advices to our audience how to avoid such a situation in their business?
Definitely. I would say do not give sole responsibility to an employee, even if they're a friend. Be aware that an employee can be dishonest. Look and review where your business is vulnerable. we didn't think ours was, and be realistic.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So there you have it, 2 victims, 2 businesses that never thought that their employees would be dishonest. And what it's shown is that as a business or an organisation, you've got to have a responsible and mature and a realistic approach and a view to the element of dishonest employees within the workplace. And these 2 employees, they identified the opportunity to be dishonest around their normal working environment, their normal working practice. Bear in mind they weren't criminals before, they turned to criminality whilst they were employed. And they rationalised in their own mind their actions. And again, once again, we see that the motivational factor for the dishonesty is financial remuneration.